Hey guys, it's me, your boy, and I am back with another video to make you probably lose those precious brain cells you have worked so damn hard to develop over the course of your life. For today's installment of throwing random characters against Dragon Ball, we have a pretty interesting one. We will be taking a look at the Flash today, specifically the CW Flash from the Arrowverse TV series. Jesus man, I almost said the Flash from fucking Quickfill just now. I need a drink. But why would I pick this Flash in particular, you might ask? Why not take the comic version? And the answer is honestly very simple. I have never read the Flash comics, so I know absolutely nothing about that version of him. But in contrast, I have actually watched the CW TV series twice. That's right, I sat through all 9 seasons of that show twice. But you know the drill by now. From this point onwards in the video, there will very likely be spoilers, so be advised and consider yourself warned if you don't want to see any spoilers, right? So let's start with our main character for today's video, Barry Allen. Bartholomew Henry Barry Allen is introduced as a forensic scientist working in the Criminal and Forensic Science Division of the Central City Police Department. He is the son of Henry and the late Nora Allen, foster son of Joe West and best friend slash foster brother of Iris West, with whom he regrettably develops romantic feelings, because she is by far the most insufferable character in this entire fucking show. Like, a bit of a spoiler moving forward, like, I was rooting for Savitar to stab the bitch. Yeah, like, I despise this character, it's really bad. But the pivotal moment in Barry's life occurs when a particle accelerator explosion at Star Labs creates a massive thundercloud, striking him with lightning and leaving him comatose for 9 months. Upon awakening, he discovers he has gained superhuman speed and other related abilities, leading him to become the vigilante superhero known initially as Red Streak or Dust Streak, and later on as The Flash. Operating as The Flash, Barry fights against a variety of other meta-humans to defend Central City from a certain doom. Aside from other meta-humans, he also fights other speedsters like himself and gets entangled in the Speed Force, becoming the single greatest hero Central City could ever have. In terms of his equipment, he for the most part really only uses a special suit made specifically for him. This suit, an evolution of previous designs by Cisco Ramon and later on contributions from Ryan Choi, marks a significant point in Barry's development as a speedster. By season 8, Barry has undergone multiple enhancements to his speed and connection to the Speed Force, facing increasingly powerful foes like Despero and dealing with events such as the Armageddon crossover. This suit really helps him protect his body from things such as the heat he generates while running. The suit also comes with a built-in communicator to help him stay in contact with his scientific backup team, which consults him during his missions. And later on, post season 8, his suit gets the Golden Boots upgrade, and these boots, crafted from future tech by Chester using Ray Palmer's particle eradication distributor, enhance energy redirection and speed, contributing to his speed feats. He really does not use any other type of gear aside from very specific devices made to counteract very specific meta-humans, so for the context of this video, he will really just be dropped into the world of Dragon Ball, so he won't really have a use or access to these specific items, right? But he will have his suit. But let's just talk about his overall stats for a hot minute. His attack potency is at least probably somewhere alongside the small city level in terms of like destructive potential, but it does have the potential for large star level via powers derived from the Speed Force and other forces such as the Still Force, the Strength Force and the Sage Force. This reflects his ability to generate massive energy outputs such as the 2.86 billion joules mentioned in the show during an enraged state, and his capacity to contend with cosmic level threats when fully tapping into these forces. But the Flash should really not be looked at with just his generic destructive feats in mind. He should be considered multiversal simply due to his ability to affect timelines and create temporal distortions, as seen in events like the race with Zoom to power the Magnetar, or his actions in reversing scenarios like the Flashpoint he created, right? So even though he can't blow up a planet like, say, for example, Frieza can, he can alter and create entire new multiverses and timelines through time travel and the Speed Force. But you really can't talk about a speedster without mentioning how fast they actually are. CW Barry has easily reached speeds faster than light. His speed is described as potentially limitless within the show, but it obviously has a limit, somewhere even in season 9. Its potential might be limitless, but you know, it does have a limit. But I can confidently say that he is pretty much outspeeding anything in original Dragon Ball, because even though they will move faster than the eye can see and faster than light, I think Barry is still a lot faster than them at that point, but Dragon Ball Z is it's a different story, because pretty much everybody in Dragon Ball Z is capable of moving faster than light, and with each like incremental enemy, they just get faster, they get stronger. So being faster than light does not really start to gain any value the longer you get into the Dragon Ball verse. Rather, unless you can increase your speed very quickly as well, you won't be able to keep up with other characters who are also faster than light, right? But Barry also has enhanced senses. His perception to track fast-moving objects and anticipate threats is far greater than any normal humans will ever be, right? He is also capable of healing from significant injuries such as broken bones or internal damage at an accelerated rate. For example, he can heal a broken arm in a few hours. You really need to injure him pretty badly, like breaking his spine on multiple spots, in order to really incapacitate him for a longer duration of time. But for some more offensive abilities, we have air manipulation. He can generate tornadoes, vacuums, or cushions of air by manipulating wind with his speed. He can also generate powerful lightning when moving, which he can throw as lightning or absorb himself if he wants more speed. He can also vibrate his body at the frequency of air to phase through objects and manipulate the durability of objects by disrupting their molecular structures, right? One of his most recognizable abilities has to be the ability to travel through time. Barry can traverse time by breaking the temporal barrier, though this does risk attracting time waves or causing timeline disruptions. He does really have to watch himself when traveling through time, because he can really screw himself over if he does not watch out. But aside from timelines, he can also travel to alternate dimensions, as seen by him traveling to Earth 2 and Earth 3 and like Earth X, I believe it's called. But in the context of Dragon Ball, he could theoretically freely travel between Cell's timeline, Trunks' timeline, and the main timeline whenever he wants, right? And you could also travel through time in each of those timelines too. This is only if you assume the whole multiverse and timeline jargon works the exact same way in both franchises, of course, but for the sake of this video, let's just give the Flash this bone, because we can sit here for like 30 minutes debating how timelines and multiverses work in both universes, but I really don't feel like doing that. Like, sorry guys, I really don't feel like doing that. So I'm just going to give the Flash this bone for this video. But traveling through time also opens up unique strategies during combat. For example, Barry can travel to the exact moment he is at to create a time remnant. To make it easy to understand, you can kind of view it like this. Barry travels to 1 second in the past. This means the original Barry is there alongside the Barry from 1 second in that future, right? You now have two Barry Allens fighting the exact same enemy instead of just one. He can create as many time remnants as he wants, but this does significantly raise the odds of a time wraith appearing and tearing Barry's asshole asunder or messing with the timelines, because the Speed Force really does not like time being manipulated. And speaking about timelines, Barry is unaffected by certain timeline changes due to his Speed Force connection. The Speed Force essentially acts as some kind of a blast chamber that shields him from timeline changes. After events in Season 7, Barry gains a connection to the Still Force, which is time manipulation, the Strength Force, which is physical power, and the Sage Force, which is mental and psychic abilities, amplifying his versatility and raw power. But aside from his supernatural abilities, Barry is also very smart for a regular human. His forensic background, combined with years of tactical experience as the Flash, allows him to outthink enemies even at super speed. He adapts complex strategies against geniuses like Fawn and DeVoe and understands complex physics related to his powers. But Barry really is not all pluses. He also has several weaknesses, including emotional instability, for example. Rage or grief can really cloud his judgment, and even though rage boosts his power, it won't really do him any good if he just gets outsmarted due to his emotions, right? And then there is his Speed Force dependency. While his connection is stronger by Season 8, any disruption that can really weaken or sever the link between Barry and the Speed Force can completely stunlock him, because him without his speed is basically just a regular guy. And then there are the aforementioned risks involved with time travel. Reckless temporal manipulation attracts time wraiths or can even wipe entire timelines from existence. It really is a double-edged sword. So to summarize real quick, right? A little bit of a TLDR. Barry Allen is a powerhouse in the Arrowverse, boasting faster than light speed, a small city level combat stats, and an ability which makes him closer to a multiversal level individual. His abilities encompass speed, time manipulation, and energy manipulation, making him one of the CW Multiverse's fastest and most versatile heroes, right? However, his full potential remains tempered by emotional vulnerabilities and the inherent risks of his time-altering powers. But how far would he get in the world of Dragon Ball? And honestly, this is a tough one, because this is one of those cases where raw power is not nearly everything. If you just look at destructive capability, then someone like Raditz or Nappa would likely outclass Barry, but if you take everything else into consideration, it becomes a lot lot more difficult. A lot of the characters starting from the Saiyan Saga and the Namek Saga are comfortably faster than light as well, but even among characters that are faster than light, one is bound to be faster than the other, and truth be told, the Ginyu Force, for example, is pretty likely to straight up outspeed the Flash from the Arrowverse. The regrettable truth is that live-action versions of superheroes tend to be a lot weaker than their comic counterparts, and CW Barry is not an exception to this rule at all. Even if you allow him to time travel and do all of his cool stuff, Birder is very likely faster than him, stronger than him, far more durable than him, and pretty much just flat out better than him aside from the time travel stuff. But realistically, even earlier on, Vegeta blowing up the Earth or just throwing Barry into outer space would also neutralize him. Personally, I am pretty confident that this version of Barry would stop somewhere around the mid to end of the Saiyan Saga or maybe the start of the Namek Saga. So for the sake of the argument, let's place him in the Namek Saga, but I am honestly far more curious what you guys think about this. And I would like to really just address something real quick. I've seen a couple of comments about people who are like, okay, but like, what if he learns Ki, right? And I've covered this in a couple of previous videos as well, but I deliberately do not allow these people to learn Ki for two main reasons. Reason one is that I think it is very strange to assume that somebody outside of the world of Dragon Ball could just magically like learn Ki. In my experience, Ki is something internal to the world of Dragon Ball, so an external entity that is not from the Dragon Ball multiverse, I'll call it, can't just learn Ki like that, right? I don't think that's possible. And the second reason why I don't let them learn Ki is because I feel that would just completely ruin the entire point of these types of videos. Like, the entire concept behind a video like this one is how far the Flash would get in Dragon Ball with the Flash's powers, not how far would the Flash get in Dragon Ball if he could also fire Ki waves from his hands. Because in my opinion, if you just teach these characters Ki, what will happen is that an interesting fight where like two completely unique abilities clash would just devolve into who is better at using Ki or who has a higher power level. Because like it or not, Dragon Ball Ki is incredibly overpowered, and it's also incredibly boring in terms of power scaling. Because 9 out of 10 times, it will just be the person who has either a higher power level or has a better control of their Ki that will win. Like, actual martial arts knowledge does not really factor in post the Saiyan Saga, I honestly want to say. Because you can grab, for example, take... what's a good one here? Take a pool from the Frieza Force and take Goku from the 20th World Tournament. In terms of martial arts, Goku is shitting all over a pool, but a pool is just so much more powerful in terms of a power level that no matter how good Goku is at martial arts, he won't beat a pool. And the same thing would happen if the Flash learns Ki, for example. Like, I don't think it really just... I don't think it adds anything, so I deliberately don't do it, but, you know, I've seen a couple of the comments, so I did want to once again address this here, that this is the reason why I don't just allow these characters to learn Ki. I don't think it will be for the betterment of the video, right? But that's just my opinion. If you think it would be fun, like, feel free to debate about it yourself in the comments, right? But yeah, that is enough of me rambling on about stupid power scaling subjects for this week, I think. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for watching today's video. As per usual, I truly do appreciate every single viewer that takes the time out of their day to watch my content. It makes me very happy to know that even a handful of people just enjoys the content I produce. That's the reason why I do this in the first place. If you would like to see more of my content in the future, please consider clicking the subscribe button and turning on all notifications for my channel, and maybe watch some of my other videos as well. Work hard, study well, and eat and sleep plenty, and I will see you all again in the next video. Peace out.